I'll kill you.
And welcome everybody to the first official Nerd Fights for the Mandalorian. Danny will be joining us shortly, but Jason is here with us. And by the way, I also want to say this is the first day. And I want to make sure I get this right, so I actually have it in my notes. This is the first day of Irish Heritage Month, which I'm very happy about. That's you can't tell, but I'm wearing a dark green shirt. This is also the first day of Wales Heritage Week.
Oh, is it now?
Yes, which I am a teeny bit Welsh, so
I'm like a giant half slice of Welsh.
Oh, are you a big old half slice of? Well, I got a little bit of Welsh on my dad's side, so if you got a little Welsh in you, this is Welsh Heritage Week, at least in the United States. So celebrate right now while you got a chance. This is like your only chance, and nobody really cares. And this is also National MS Awareness Month, which is, hits home for me because obviously as a person with MS. And so this is actually the official MS awareness pin.
Oh, cool.
Ooh, shiny. So I guess a red ribbon is the MS pin. There's like so many different pins, but
as I say, there's only so many different patterns you can come up with.
Yes. So this is the MS awareness pin. So I'm Irish, I'm Welsh, and I have MS. I should just be lifted up and celebrated everywhere I go right now. Unfortunately,
you should be getting a 20% discount at every restaurant.
Yes, indeed. No, they should just pay me when I walk in. That way. And speaking of paying me, so I'm very happy that my 14 plus month battle with Social Security is just about over. But it's orange, my wife says, not red. My 14-month battle with Social Security is about over. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to be rich because Social Security is not exactly paying me a fortune or anything. But it does mean that our red is cancer, she says. So yeah, this is orange for MS. Red is cancer, so orange. Got to get your colors right. And so but the family budget is going to improve slightly, where the money from Social Security will just about cover the household expenses. Like as long as we don't eat, anything other than, top ramen and, basically, yeah. Anything more expensive than the bare minimum kind of stuff.
Hey, craft dinner and cocktail wieners.
I
grew up on that.
Exactly. As long as we don't do anything fancy, we can survive on just what Social Security's given us. Now, with that being said, the reason I'm telling you guys that is that means that 100% Danny, can you mute when you're making a bunch of noise like that?
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Anyway, that means that 100% of super chats and donations for the short term are going to go into one very specific project, and that project is to basically make the house handicapped accessible. So I'm going to do things like, we're going to put wheelchair ramps. We need to put a stair climber thing, that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying that, hey, give me your money, except that I'm saying, hey, give me your money, because we do need to do that stuff. It is going to be important in the long term. Our insurance will pay for some of that, but not all of it.
Hey, we talked about that before, actually.
And that stuff is expensive. That stuff is very expensive.
Yeah, I know. And at least, I don't think you should feel bad at all. I mean, people like, all these other YouTubers we know with all these tons of subscribers, they've turned that into their full-time job. Know what I mean? So,
right.
And yeah, it's not like you're asking, it's not like Unless you are setting up a GoFundMe. It's not like you're setting up a GoFundMe for it.
No, I'm not.
You're
I'm
providing entertainment.
just letting people know that, hey, that's where because sometimes people, they think that you're just spending their super chat money on, beer and
hookers and blow, man. Hookers and blow.
Exactly. And that's, so I just want to be transparent. That's where any super chat money right now is going. It's going to go towards handicap, upgrading the house. Once that's done, then I'll let you guys know what we're doing next, but that's where it's all going right now. You're muted right now, Danny. You muted yourself in StreamYard.
We're live.
Yeah, you didn't realize that?
No, when did we go live? No,
at 5 o'clock. That's when we were supposed to go live.
You said it was 15 after.
I didn't say it was 15 after. You said it was 15 after.
Oh man, I had no idea we were live.
Oh no, that's okay. I'm watching it go by. It plays as shtick. You're like, got the tape thing out, and you're dusting yourself off.
That's why I asked you to mute, dude. Why would I ask you to mute if we weren't live?
That is so embarrassing.
I wouldn't care.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh no, that was perfect. Honestly,
you guys, you love trolling me. I would have been in here.
That explains why you sat down like you just didn't care that I was talking about this stuff.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. No, I had a client here. He got here, shit, at 7 a.m. because we were really determined to try to get this this website launched today. And he's come over. He's also a friend. And this is the third time he came over, and I was really hoping we'd knock it out on the third day, but it's all good. Last week he took me out for sushi. Today he took me out for a steak and egg breakfast, but he's lucky because I have a 4-ounce stomach, so I'm a very cheap date, so he didn't have to really spend that much because I eat off the kids menu. But I was just talking. I was just shooting a shit to him, smoking a cigarette, because I thought I still had 2 more minutes from now.
That's
Good Lord.
Well, we've talked about this before. Of course, I know the weed that breaks your brain.
I've been with a client all day. I haven't even got to smoke.
Yeah, but no, we have talked about this before, where we'll schedule it, because we've done this like when we were on the later schedule, when we were scheduled at 5 your time. I would schedule it at 5:15 so that we would look like we were going early when we were actually going on time.
Oh, that's it's kind of like my thing with my car clock. Yeah, I always set it 10 minutes fast,
and that way, if we were actually
when I'm panicking,
if we had some kind of massive technical issue and we were 5 minutes late, we were still on time.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Like, let's say that one of our microphones blew up, and so we had to panic and get a spare mic out of the closet or something, or
my spare mic is right there as a decor piece.
Wherever
I know, man. I'm kidding. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm just saying, whatever happens, somebody has some technical issue, and we have to panic and do plan B, then we can do so and not have to say we're late.
Right. Well, now I need to go back and look through the chat, because that was sorry you guys had to hear my loud thing. I just was covered in cat hair, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that was hilarious. We were just enjoying it. And by the way, thank you to Captain Fandom Nerd for a $5 tip.
Super chat.
And he said, here is a little something. So thank you so much, my friend. That's like you said, every little bit will help, and we're going to it'll take a while to get everything set up, but the idea, I can still walk mostly, but it's gonna, long term, we got to do things like put in a bathroom that's handicap accessible. That's going to be an expensive project, because
looking at a bathroom, regardless of what you want to do, is just like watching your wallet cry.
Yeah, and to do one that's actually handicapped accessible is you might as well just
Hey, look, it's Pop Culture Minefield.
What is Pop Culture Minefield here? Oh, hey, All right,
might be
so
on my
let me
channel.
say hi to people in the chat. So we got Captain Phantom Nerd was first in the house. How you doing, Captain Phantom Nerd, who also just left the $5. So thank you doubly for being first and the first to donate. Mike Richards, best thing to ever come out of Columbus, Ohio. Well, probably the only good thing to come out of Columbus, Ohio. Let's be honest. Miss Moneypenny is here. Well, actually, I already saw. Spoiler alert: she left. And Jason, some idiot, is here. And Gorilla's Random Thoughts is here. Good to see you, Gorilla. Thomas Potts is here, complaining that we are early. And let's see, Miss Moneypenny wants us all kiss her because she is Irish. Well, I'm sorry. We'll just leave that to your husband. He can take care of that. Bird, oh pray 5, the evil one. By the way, Bird, I am so pissed at you. Let me. I'm pissed at you, and I'm pissed. And let me fix this because that's the wrong side.
Yeah,
and I'm pissed at him, right there. Jason. I'm pissed at the two of you. I wish you were on this panel right now, Bird, because I would rip you to shreds right freaking now. And let me explain something to you. So it's supposed to take 6 months or less to get your Social Security taken care of. It's been over 14 freaking months to take care of my Social Security. You know why? I'll tell you why. Number one, and this is why I'm pissed at Mr. Jason over here. It was an IT problem. This whole thing was an IT problem. It was a busted up server that caused all of this problem. All right.
How's it their fault?
It was he runs away. It was probably some Canadian.
Oh, I was going to put mine on.
Probably some Canuck that said, well, it should work. You know, is probably some guy said, oh yeah, just unplug it and plug it back in, it'll work. You know, no, I am.
Press any key to continue. Which one's the any key?
Yeah,
just turn the speed up. It'll be better.
Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, you ready for this? I am not making this up. The server in question, okay, I hope you're sitting down. Well, I know you're lying down, Bird, but I hope everybody's sitting down for this. The server is in Queens, New York.
It's a conspiracy.
Yes.
I don't know if Danny realizes, but Bird is in Queens.
Oh, but why is he mad at you? What if
me?
Yeah, so Bird makes sense. Why is he mad at you?
No, because it's just IT related.
Jason's an IT guy. So there's
so
a
that's
conspiracy
blanket automatically his fault.
Hey, look, I lean into this stuff. I mean, look, that was me that changed my name to Mordak.
Yeah.
I added that in.
Danny and his penis pump. Well, yeah, Bird's going to send him one. And Donnie is in the house saying hi to everybody. Hope you're doing well, Donnie.
Hey, Donnie.
Let's see. And yeah, Thomas says at least Dork didn't put deodorant on. Well, you know, that would have been hilarious if we just sat down. Like,
it would have been nice if you'd have been like, hey, we're live, you know.
I thought you knew. I thought you realized we were live. That's why it was hilarious. I was like, why is he being so stupid? But, you know, that would have been hilarious.
It felt like something out of Family Guy almost.
Yeah. There's Pop Culture Minefield. How
hey, he came over to this. He figured out we were simulcasting.
Mike Richards is here. Good again. At LDG, somehow the IQ in the room just dropped like a rock. Positive Candor, excited for Grogu because Positive Candor's favorite thing in the world is Grogu. And the only way to bring the IQ of the room down from LDG is to have Dork Knight in the room. And Bird says, it's my server. You know what? I would not doubt that at all. And of course, Thomas says, nice job, jerk. Yes, Project Prometheus, I'm sure, was probably the problem. All right, so let's get to it. So our story opens up with some interesting shots of the what do they call her? The
I forget. See, that's I forget.
She does have a title. I can't remember what it is.
She's like the blacksmith lady.
Yeah, the blacksmith. Yeah, so But yeah, she's forging some a helmet,
That could be
a new helmet. And it seems like as we're watching this that we're seeing and the armorer, thank you. It feels like we're seeing a flashback of when Din Djarin first got his helmet. That's what I thought we were seeing. Because we see her forging a helmet, we see her come out, a bunch of Mandos are sitting there, and she's bringing the helmet to a kid and giving this kid the oath of the Mandalore, and basically making the kid promise that he would never remove the helmet. And then just as the kid is about to promise never to remove his helmet, a giant crocodile attacks, because that's always what happens.
The Crocotortus, the final evolution.
I mean, although now, what did you guys think of this? The initial attack.
I you know how Cocaine Bear just came out? So no, stay with me here. So I've suggested it to the Salty Nerds. They've never done it. Maybe we could take this suggestion. But the Mockbusters.
The Mockbusters?
Is that a super chat?
It is.
Oh, and Berto Prey 5 is tipped $2. So your thing.
Super chat.
Thank you. And says it's payback for defacing the Temple of Peace. Revenge is a dish best served cold. I did not deface the Temple of Peace. The Temple of Peace was a lie. The Temple of Peace was a dirty trap. You are an evil son of a. All right, so let's continue on. So Cocaine Bear.
So it was recently announced. I believe it was by Asylum, because it's always them that make these movies. A cocaine crocodile thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, to ride their coattails, and I had just read that. I don't know, a couple days ago.
Like
or maybe it was
croc on.
Yeah,
crack,
it was. Today's Wednesday, so this was 2 days ago. I read this on Monday, and because Cocaine Bear did really well. I mean, even though it came in second, it was a cheap movie to make, so it's very successful, and I mean they're happy with it. So when that happens, these Mockbusters. You've seen. I know you've seen them, because
you mean the Mythbusters?
No, it's like Blockbusters, but Mockbusters, because
I don't know them.
No, it's not. It's just a genre. Hold up. Okay.
This would be like some of those super bad movies,
like the Asylum films, where they just they make parody films.
Well, I mean they're blatant ripoffs most of the time.
But they're parody films. That's what they are.
I mean, that's how they get away with it. But those are called Mockbusters.
Yeah.
And
Elon Musk has tipped $1.
Super chat.
And said, sorry, I needed the extra servers to keep Twitter running.
So in a lot of the times they'll release these. I really do think this should be a really fun topic for a single episode. Because
like a one-off at when we don't have a series going.
Yeah, when we don't have a series going, because it's so blatant. There's Cargo. There's Help, I've Shrunk the Family. I give you two guesses to what those are. And then there was, this one's really bad. American Cowboys versus Aliens.
Right.
Instead of just Cowboys versus and they get away with this stuff. I don't see how they do it. It's nuts, man. So but anyway, Transmorphers, that's when I remembered. They came out right around the same time as Transformers. And the way these guys make their money is skeezy. I
remember Atlantic Rim.
Yeah. They fool little old ladies into buying these for their grandkids and stuff. Right. That's who's buying this stuff. It's terrible. Right. It's terrible. Anyway, my point was because I had just read that.
So is that what this crocodile's making you think of?
Yeah, because the picture I saw in the article, it almost looked like this. It was just a gigantic alligator, and I was like, man, and it just kind of took me out of it. And it's not their fault, but that's because it was just fresh in my brain. But, yeah, I didn't like. I'll be honest with you, man. I don't want to spoiler alert or anything, but I did not like this episode. It's like I didn't really like it.
Well, Bird says if the Mandalorians could fly, why didn't they just fly away? Well, some of them did fly.
Not all of them have jetpacks.
Not all the Mandalorians have jetpacks. I mean,
don't you remember
Jin Darren right here? You can see the Mandalorian closest to the camera does not have a jetpack.
They have to earn that on one of their quests.
Yeah,
right. And it's actually something that not all of them like. They all specialize with different gear. Where'd Danny go?
I'm here. I'm just
okay. You're not doing your nasty thing, are you?
No, I was not. I was cleaning out my teeth.
Okay, well, dude, personal hygiene is not something you should be doing during.
I know. I thought I had until 3:15, and I was planning on brushing my teeth when I came back in because I thought I had time.
All right, so
dental pick thingy. Sorry.
Now here's, I wouldn't say well, we'll get into the ins and outs of the whole episode after we go through the general plot. I thought that the visual effects for this scene were good. I mean, and it's Lucasfilm. I mean, I actually think that they stepped it up for this season of Mandalorian compared to previous seasons. I think it looked really nice. The problem is that I do think the creature design here was lazy. It did just look like a giant crocodile. It's like,
I mean, give us a creature we've already seen, if nothing else, but a giant crocodile.
I mean, but it's like, really, you literally just took a big crocodile. Couldn't
they went into the preloaded assets and
I was literally about to say that. That's literally what I was about to say.
you couldn't, you couldn't come up with something else. And if you couldn't come up with something else, hey, how about a Sarlacc or something? I mean, why?
They did that in Picard. They used stock footage in season 1 of Picard, like that comes with Adobe Premiere.
The robots and all that. It's bad. That's why that season got savaged so badly by people. But my thought is basically, and this is going to be throughout the whole episode, is I think we know where all the money for the TV shows went. It went into this. Like all the Star Wars money went to this season because everything looks either good or really good.
Yeah.
As we get into the later part of the episode. And you don't have anything weird. There's no clipping. Like there's people's mouths don't come out of sync or anything stupid like that. Like everything is solid.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. But Crocotortus here is a plot device so that Din Djarin can show back up again,
right?
As we'll see in a second.
Right, because the Mandos.
I like your idea. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Nan.
I was just gonna say I like your idea better, Michael. Like that was a flashback type of scene, but
that we were seeing Din Djarin as a kid.
Yeah,
that's what my son and I sort of thought. Yeah.
But as it turns out, it's just a kid that was getting his initiation, but the Mandos couldn't deal with it because its hide was just too tough for their hand weapons, and
not enough DACA.
Yeah. So did I go too far? Let me go back and.
All I know is I don't know. This kind of. I'll wait till we get to the scene, but the way Din Djarin was over this robot.
Yeah. So Din flies in with his ship and basically one-shots it because the ship has its big guns. I'm not going to bother.
Still has the torpedo launcher.
Yeah. Which was cool. Then we get the title card. Din comes in, talks to the armorer, and shows her a crystal from Mandalore. And of course, and this crystal has Mandalorian writing on it. So he's saying that this is proof that Mandalore has not been completely destroyed. And so that means that he may still be able to bathe in the sacred pools and redeem himself from taking off his helmet. And she repeats that what he did was, basically a horrible thing, because it's, and even it's like, it's one thing to have had your helmet removed. It's another to have done it willingly. Although to my understanding, what's the difference? Like, seems like it's the same thing to them.
Well, the lore on that whole sect cult in Mandalorian lore in general is pretty deep, and well, they're pretty crazy.
Yeah, and you'd think he would like team up with Bo-Katan and that sect, but instead, I guess this whole season's going to be the quest for redemption or something. I don't know. It's going to be,
well, there may be more to it than that. I mean, I don't know, because first of all, one thing that I think is interesting is, to me at least, and this is just kind of how I see it, and is that it feels almost like Mando's sect is like the Catholic Church. Bo-Katan's sect is like the Protestant Church, the Reformed Church. In that, and because if you listen to them, when they say this is the way,
positive, or sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
It's and yeah, I know. Well, we'll get to the Bo-Katan scene in a little bit here, Positive Candor. But that's what it feels like to me, is that we're looking at there's the reformation of the Mandalorian belief system, and whether or not someone like Din Djarin can accept that the idea that those core beliefs that some things can be changed, like the removal of helmets in front of others. And if you look at the Catholic beliefs, that would be things like that anyone other than priests can read the Bible, which was a core belief of the church for literally hundreds and hundreds of years.
And hundreds, yeah. And it had to be Latin, and it's the same. It's almost like modern Catholic versus ultra Orthodox ancient Catholic,
right? And so,
from what I understand on the Mandalorian history, if you trot out into the fringes of things like Legends and the expanded universe, they've always been crazy. Like, the Mandalorian culture has always been nuts. Like, they fought themselves when there was no one else to fight. It was basically kind of like the way they lived. So,
well, and I think that's interesting, because like, if you looked at, like, if you had I think this goes, it's a parallel to the ancient Catholic and the original Protestant movement with the Lutherans. If you looked at Din Djarin as a Catholic monk who ran into an early Lutheran monk, and they were forced to work together, then and then eventually this spawned the Catholic Reformation, to where we get modern Catholic beliefs, to where Catholics are now no longer, forbidding Catholics from reading the Bible, and the Bible is translated into common tongue and that kind of thing.
You almost have to wonder if the writers even actually had that well in mind, because when you look at a lot of the architecture, and you see it later on when they fly in.
Yeah, it feels that way. It really does.
The castle, everything is very big, very.
So I'm wondering if that is the intent here.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's move on here. So she is the armorer seems very hesitant here, more so than she felt in Book of Boba Fett. But you know, I guess she's just in a bad mood or something.
She's shaken from fighting Godzilla.
Yeah, so from Crocosaur, or what did you call it? Crocotaurus?
Crocotortus, yeah.
Yeah.
Crocotortus. Yeah.
Yeah. And whoops, didn't mean to play that. And by the way, is it just me, or does Grogu look better than ever? You know,
I think they're getting that puppet down to the point where it's just beyond silly.
Yeah. As far as looking great?
Yeah. I think they just mastered all of that.
Damn it. All right. I'll try to be fast. Cece's calling me and I got to find out.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. It's all right. You got your priorities right. Cece comes first. You know, and you also got to look at the fact that the Mandalorians themselves look physically like Crusaders.
Oh yeah, and everybody has their own unique armor with their own little flair, whether it's a different helmet style to a just ever so slightly with the eye slit and the central slit and all the greebling and the garnishes that are all over them.
Right. They each have their unique stuff, but they all have things in common.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's interesting. All right, so let's move on. So then they head to the planet.
Oh, there is one thing that you kind of skip by with the hyperspace scene.
And when they see the other ships in the hyperspace lane?
Those aren't ships. Those are called Purgle.
Oh, okay.
And what's interesting about that, and this is why I'm one of these guys that keeps beating the drum on, if you really want to get into the depth of a lot of what's going on that we see in The Mandalorian, you do to a good extent need to go and watch a lot, if not all, of the cartoons, the Clone Wars, and specifically also Rebels, because the Purgle are actually space creatures that are capable of flying through hyperspace, and they are actually responsible for what is potentially going to be the setup for the Ahsoka series and whether or not we actually get to see Thrawn.
Oh.
Yeah. So seeing the Purgle being put on screen like that in the hyperspace conduit, that's kind of a big deal for me. I smiled pretty good when I saw that. So
well, and I also like that you got to see how Grogu has a little conduit that he can climb in to get to get to Din and just kind of snuggle up with him while they're on their trips. And just kind of, I know it's silly, but it kind of reminded me of how T'Pring just kind of hops in my lap when she wants to, and just curl up and go to sleep. But yeah, it's that was an adorable scene, one of those moments in the show. And again, Grogu for the absolute win. You can't help but love that thing.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, you look at this shot. I'm sorry, this looks absolutely real.
Oh, it looks really good, just really solid.
Yeah.
It looks, I would say it's even better than some of the flyover shots that we saw in Andor, and Andor's production quality was pretty high.
Yeah, this stuff looks stupid good. I meif it wasn't for the fact that what we're looking at is clearly a sci-fi cockpit, if you change that to the cockpit of an F-18 or something, I might think that he was really flying over a real town.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that is crazy how good that looks. Anyway, so he lands and of course, starts strolling the town, and they see a few sights, and it turns out, of course, that they're back on, however you say it, Navarro.
I think so, yeah.
And Darren Wagner is here, says it's the Jason Price Show with special guests Salty and Dork Nightly, because Darren is a jerk. Let's see. Let's move people around here and there. That's better. And so they start talking, and of course, what's Carl Weathers' character's name? Do you remember?
He likes to be called the High Magistrate
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah, the High Magistrate. He keeps trying to sell him some real estate. And so he's like, oh, I got a prime plot here. Just, but and Din keeps saying, no thanks. Apollo Creed. I don't think that's his name in this show.
Grief Karga.
Grief Karga, thank you. And so, so he wants IG-11 back. And so they took the bits of IG-11 they could recover from the explosion last season and built a statue out of him because he was a hero the way he sacrificed himself. Which, that scene was both incredibly heroic and dramatic and hilarious all at the same time. Because throughout the first 2 seasons, he kept trying to self-destruct, which was kind of funny the way he kept doing it, because he almost kills the heroes how many times because he wants to self-destruct. And then when he finally self-destructs, it's one of the most heroic and sad and yet hilarious things that happens in the series, because
I don't know if you've ever watched Firefly, but that statue in the town square immediately reminded me of Jane Cobb, the hero of Canton. In the Mutters town. I don't know why, but it just seemed kind of.
So yeah,
we're worshiping, or we're recognizing somebody who wasn't exactly as much of a hero as maybe some people think he is.
Right. And so, because there should be a statue of Din Djarin, if anybody, but Din's not looking for credit. Here's where he's trying to sell him some real estate. So then they go into town, and there's some pirate dudes just hanging out trying to cause trouble because they want to have a tense standoff scene. And this is actually a pretty good scene. What did you think of the standoff here?
It was believable. I felt it was played out right, that Mando sat on the edge and didn't really engage. And then anytime that he interacted, it was just small moves, not some big brash.
Right.
push.
Mando was just kind of like, okay, I'll if Grief gets in trouble, then you get the feeling like if Grief got in trouble, then he would step in and do something. But he knows that Grief can handle himself. But yeah, Grief shoots the gun out of the lead pirate's hand very handily. And who's playing that lead pirate? Because that voice sounds really familiar.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up here in a second.
And unfortunately, since you can't make out his face, it's really hard to know.
Yeah, that's something else I was pretty happy with, is the makeup work on these.
Yeah, on the aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, and that main pirate, he was very good looking.
Yeah.
And no, Chief, there were no Jedi. Any luck there?
The armor, Mandalorian War, Ragnar. No, that's the kid.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
That's
Hey, man.
okay.
What I miss?
You missed Darren Wagner saying that he was glad that you were gone.
Well, that makes sense. But I mean, like, what part of the show did you go over? Did I miss?
We're right now at the pirate standoff.
Okay, so I missed.
You missed him landing on the planet.
Right, and asking for the droid, right?
Huh? And you missed Grogu seeing the creatures in hyperspace. You missed him landing on the planet. You missed him, meeting up with Apollo Creed, and then them walking the town, and now he's meeting the pirates.
All right. Okay, I'm all caught up now. Has Apollo Creed put them in their place yet?
Yeah, he just shot the blaster out of the lead pirate's hand.
Okay, all right, and the rest of them, they about to go down. Yeah, these guys look creepy, man. He's like got a.
Yeah, we're just talking about how good the makeup is.
It looks like, it reminds me of Galaxy Quest a little bit.
It did actually, the main baddies.
Yeah. And and that always warms the cockles of my heart. Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, if only Schwarzenegger was in this, that would have been perfect. If he was the lead alien, that would have been so awesome.
Let me tell you something.
If he says, "Grief, you son of a
grief."
Yeah, now if all of a sudden
a leech.
if Kurt Weathers starts dual wielding the exact same weapon, well, yeah, it's actually Dylan.
So, are you still looking?
Well, what sucks right now is they've got. Do they say his name? Is his name Vane?
I don't know.
Captain Gorian Shard, I think. I put on the subtitles.
Gorian Shard, I think, is the guy, the pirate dude. It looks like he got lost in the salad.
Mando's just hardcore, man. He just whips his gun out, murders like 4 people. Pow, pow, pow. Vane. His name is Vane. V-A-N-E.
Is Vane? Okay, so believe it or not, the guy's from California. Marty Matulis. Well, it's just because he has an almost Britishy kind of accent to him. Anyway, yeah, he's absolutely a caricature player. Like if you look at the characters he's done, it's a lot of them has been in a lot of makeup, so it makes sense that he did as well.
What's something that he's done recently that we'd recognize?
Why don't you put the link in the private chat?
He was in. He was in the movie Smile, which I haven't seen. That's super new.
I haven't seen that yet either.
He was actually in 5 episodes of Westworld.
No, I haven't seen
that.
He season 1, but that's it.
He was in 3 episodes of Picard.
Really?
Yeah. And he was in American Horror Story. 7 episodes of American Horror Story.
So he's a career TV extra guy, or not extra, but like whatever they call
supporting cast. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I don't know. Has the part happened already where he tells Apollo that he wants that little droid back? Have we gotten to that yet?
Yeah.
So okay, I wanted to talk about that because like it didn't make any damn sense to me. Like I get it, like little dude saved your life and twice technically, and he changed your opinion. It's kind of like Kirk with the Klingons, but I don't know if I just didn't like this. Like, like I want this, only that droid. It can only be that, because it even says something like that in a little bit.
Well.
Then when they reactivate him, has that part happened yet?
No. We haven't gotten to that.
Okay, all right. Sorry.
Yeah, you're jumping ahead.
Okay.
All right. So, Apollo Creed trying to look like a badass now, and then Mando shoots the other 4 because they were going to shoot him.
Yeah.
And he's just like bam, 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 bam.
But pew, pew, pew.
And unlike because he's a Mandalorian and doesn't believe in warning shots, unlike Apollo, he doesn't shoot their guns; he just shoots them down. And so, but they let Vane live, and he runs away like a little coward. He's a Krogan.
Coward.
Yeah. Coward. He pulls the Krogan move. So. Apollo and him are, by the way, notice there's a lot of protocol droids on Navarro. You notice that?
There's a lot of protocol droids.
And Anthony Daniels does a voice. I don't know if you guys caught that.
I did catch that. And this felt a lot like Lando,
What are you
like
doing,
Carl
crazy dog?
Weathers kind of, like this. It's like this is his Bespin City. You know what I mean?
What's that?
This is his Cloud City. This is his Bespin.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. But and his performance is great. I think
Yeah.
he does. He does a really good job. I think he really stepped it up from before. So, and I like his little droids that are carrying his cloak.
I know, right?
That just shows how
That's
full
gangster.
of himself he is.
He's a pimp.
When Matthew and I were watching that, I said that's gross misappropriation of resources.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but you know what? You could
That's
absolutely
gangster
see
move.
just about everybody in Washington D.C. right now doing that.
Oh, for
yeah.
sure.
You know,
Gangster.
I mean, come on. How many people in Washington D.C. wouldn't do that?
That would be the shorter list. Yes.
Yes. So this is where they're talking. They're kind of debating whether or not it's worth the time to take IG-88. But he's like, give me a chance to do it myself. And so they take all the parts that were original. Yeah, go ahead.
I just don't get this. What's the motivation? Can you please explain it to me? I'm confused.
The motivation is IG-88 was a popular character.
Oh, money. Okay.
And so
a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of marketing.
Yeah. Super chat.
I could have swore I heard one on your.
No,
thing.
you heard a text message on my phone.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, you get nerd points for that. That's nice.
The IG-88 was, let's see. Yeah, so it's a friend of ours that we have dinner with once a month. So my wife and him are making arrangements.
Excellent.
The IG-88 is a popular character. Everybody loved him, but then he killed himself. So, but since he's a droid, you can always just rebuild him, even though you shouldn't be able to. And this is something I have a big problem with. But
yeah, same.
And we'll get. So so look at all that. So first of all, if you notice where my cursor is right there. See that?
Yeah.
That's where the
a bomb used to be.
was.
Yeah. No, look. There's
no way that any of the chest area would be intact.
No way.
There's no way that you would have the brain, so to speak, working at all.
Look, this droid and the Crocotortus.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Apostakendor. It's IG-11. IG-88 was from Empire Strikes Back.
Sorry, but my thing is, I don't know. Both of those were just so. I didn't care for this episode. It took me out of it. There were a couple cool moments, but
You didn't like the fact that these two things were as big of a requirement to move the plot forward.
Yeah, especially this droid thing, and it's a huge part of this episode. It ends with Mando.
Well,
taking his parts away.
Fetch quest.
If I could,
you're doing it again. It's 11.
Or I keep saying IG-88.
I was calling them IG-88 when I was watching the show too.
Yeah, it's gonna drive me crazy because they're both double numbers.
Yeah. My take on some of these types of things, like what we saw with IG and with the Crocotortus, is it almost feels like when you think about how child targeted season 1 of Mandalorian was, it's almost as though they're playing this up like you would get with an episode of Rebels or Clone Wars, where they're being a little bit outrageous on purpose.
I guess, it's kind of, this is actually more egregious than when crybaby, Sith, Darth Vader wannabe, Kylo Ren, his scar moved like a lot between movies, like a lot, and shrank significantly as well. So there's a history of not having consistency, but this is just blatantly insulting anyone with intelligence that watched the show. Like the fact that I'm responding to the Mr. Trent comment, like the explosive in chest,
leaves chest intact.
Yeah. That's just not how physics
works.
But
the lower half of him is gone.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know.
Now, granted, the lower half of him was in lava, but at the same time, so lava completely destroys him, but an explosive designed to destroy him doesn't.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense. And Positive Candor is saying that it's called plot, but if that's their idea of making him a plot point, no, I think Salty was right. This is all just a cash grab, greedy thing that probably came down from the, merchandising executives.
Right. My problem is I love IG-11 as much as the next guy, and I really do. I would love to have him come back, but at the same time, it seemed, like what I would rather see is if they combed the lava pits or whatever and they just found the memory chip and put it in a new IG droid rather than to try to suggest that they have all the pieces of the IG droid and put them back together. Because
you guys got Darren saying IG-88 now. That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's gonna own that.
Yeah, because but IG-11 is like, to try and suggest that you could actually reassemble him after having a bomb in his chest specifically designed for self-destruction. That is ludicrous at best. That would be like if the Enterprise, after it blew up in Star Trek 3, in Star Trek 4, some Klingons were flying around in the Enterprise saying, well, we found it.
Yeah.
You right?
I just went back and played the detonation scene.
Get out of there!
Oh, that is just, they should have gone with all they could find was his head or something.
Yeah,
It would have been, from a critical perspective, you can kind of bag on that. They really should have just gone with, they found his head.
Like that's the only thing.
Tip,
which they're saying like they don't even have we're not there yet. I'll wait because I have many questions about the scene coming up here. So,
all right, so but it's beyond Mando's ability to repair. They managed to get him to wake up, but then he suddenly goes, terminate. Now this absolutely proves Mando correct from season 1 when he refused to trust IG-11, and but Pig Baby was sitting there going, no, you trust him, I have spoken. And he was like, no, I'm not trusting him. And Pig Baby was like, no, I have trained him and he will protect Baby Yoda. I have spoken. And everybody was like, yeah, see, IG-11 is good now. No, he's not. At his core, he's still evil. Mando was right all along. At his core, he is evil.
Yeah, and they try to give it some kind of a justification with a line of dialogue.
Well, they said he reverted to his core programming.
Well, if that's what they said, then you're right. Then so's Mando, and all the more reason for me to be confused. After this display from IG-11, Mando still insists on trying to get him fixed.
Right, which makes no sense. At this point, it's like, whoa, I guess you're right. We should not use him. He goes into Terminator mode. I think we're done.
I think we're good here. This is the way.
At that point, I'd be like, we're done here. And so then they squish his head, and yet they still want to fix him.
Not they, only Mando. I'm pretty sure Apollo, while he was preciously holding baby Yoda Grogu, He wasn't down with that. Okay,
So
is
then
this little shit from that movie that was so god awful? I tried to delete it, but it looks so familiar. Is this the creature that helped with C-3PO? Like help, like
yeah, from Rise of Skywalker.
is it the same character? I mean, I know it's
No,
the
I
same
think
species.
it's the same species.
Just
I
the
don't
same
think
species.
It's the actual same character.
I
Or
would,
if
hey,
it
if anybody in the chat could find that out, I would really want to know if that's supposed to be.
But you know, but there was only one of them in Rise of Skywalker. Here we have
that's not Babu Frick, but that is his species.
Okay, all right.
But it's also the explanation for my background.
Yeah,
I don't know if you noticed it, Danny.
I can't see. You're so small.
It's the Doozers.
So why is he so small? There we go. Oh, from Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Oh man, down in Fraggle Rock. I love Fraggle Rock.
Exactly.
Obviously.
Of course, he loves Fraggle Rock. He's high all the time.
No, my mother raised me on that. Like I raised my son on Blue's Clues. You know, like kids love a good puppet, man. I don't know. Like,
all right, so the Fraggles
or Muppet. Were they Muppets? Were Fraggles Muppets?
They
were considered Muppets, part of the Muppet family. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry for that sidestep.
Yeah. So anyway, so the Fraggles are working on IG-11, and they're like, "Oh, he's broken."
Yeah, there was a line in this scene that I specifically remember. Yeah, so okay, I thought the one on the right was the one from the movie. I knew the dude with the Fu Manchu on the left wasn't, because that looked nothing like. But anyway, clearly not. So they there's a line where Mando asks these critters, can you fix I get like something about fixing a broken memory chip,
right?
Which is what they've done is the exact opposite of what they should have done. The only thing that should have survived that blast was a memory chip.
Yeah, but instead that's the only thing that didn't survive.
Yeah, come on. You know, it's like anyway. And I like how
this was cute though, I gotta say. So Baby Yoda,
all of this is for the kids.
Well, see, and that's why I'm willing to give so much leeway on silly things, super silliest things like Krakatoa and stuff, because there is such a desire, it seems, from the creators of this show to make it very accessible to kids.
Is it, or is it the people in like higher up that are in charge of marketing and merchandising and the money hungry people?
Look, I know you're.
It could be a little bit of both.
Yeah, but, I mean, first of all, there's nothing wrong with being capitalist. I mean, look, Baby Yoda is an incredibly merchandizable character.
I get that. Like I'm not. First of all, I'm not some dirty commie. I do believe in capitalism. what I'm
but
saying,
you make it sound like these
look,
people.
Jason. There's only one person here lives in a socialist country. Okay, and it ain't me. So
maybe you should move there.
I got no problem. No. Let me explain. When decisions are being made like this one with IG-11, when stupid decisions are being made that make absolutely no freaking sense whatsoever, in the spirit of solely just shamelessly trying to make money, and then you're pissing off your core fan base, we brought you to the damn dance, and you're gonna start doing this shit. We're gonna leave with I don't know, somebody else. Like, Marvel's not a good example.
Yeah, I see the danger in it, because when we were down in Florida in November, I was in the gigantic Disney store that's on the edge of Disney World, and
some of them, Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't been to the Florida one. I've been to the California one several times, but anyway.
Okay. Sorry. So in the section of the store that was dedicated to Star Wars merch, there was definitely some stuff that should never have gotten approved, and it's almost all based off of 7, 8, and 9. Like,
okay, positive candor. I know that, but what's that got to do with anything? So sorry, Jason. If you don't want me to respond,
super kitschy.
Yeah, yes, but Mike, if you don't want me to interrupt somebody, wait till they're done talking to bring up a thing, because my knee-jerk reaction is to, especially when they
You
at
didn't
me.
respond.
Yeah, sorry, Jason, I didn't mean to step all over you, buddy.
But yeah, like it's overly kitschy, and it's not. So as a good example from way back in the 70s and 80s, R2 and C3PO, you can almost be sure was a Lucasfilm marketing thing.
Right.
But when you look to what Disney was trying to do at the same time, when obviously back then they didn't own anything to do with Star Wars, they came out with the odd but still I like watching it movie The Black Hole. and if you actually did,
Stupid robots and that.
Down in Fraggle Rock.
Yeah. If you actually look into the making of that movie, you find out that those two floaty little robot guys with the stick out legs were deliberately done so that they could try to come up with something to market along the same scale as what people got.
Yeah, because it came out. It was I would actually argue, and this kind of brings
it
like
1981, I think, was when Black Hole came out.
No, it was 70. It was the year I was born, 79. Because Star Wars came out the year before. This, and what I was going to say was this is kind of a full whatever. Point is, this is full circle. This is the Disney mockbuster of Star Wars.
It's the machine.
Yeah.
It's the Disney machine.
The Disney machine.
Yeah.
The version, I have a question for you, Jason. The version of the Black Hole that's on Disney Plus right now, is that the original version, or have they wokeifized it, you know?
That I don't know. I actually have an original copy, and I should go and try watching the Disney one or the D Plus one and see if it's different. But yeah, like I don't mind these little Babu Frick guys. You know, they wouldn't have made me think of something fun like the Doozers if I disliked them.
Yeah, right.
but
no, I love that these are these. I mean, and if they're not, damn, CGI's gotten good. But these look like practical Muppets or puppets or whatever.
I think they are. I mean, because you know,
they look real. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, and you know, keep in mind that almost all of the shots of Grogu is practical now.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch IG-11 crawling on the floor,
yeah, it's amazing how much practical.
That's stop motion.
Wow.
Because we were watching it on the big screen downstairs, and so it was as big as I could need to see it, and yeah, you could tell it was like I was getting flashbacks of the Rancor.
Well, you know,
this was a lot smoother than that. This was a lot smoother than that because I didn't notice that at all. You're talking about
No, it wasn't that bad, but no. It wasn't like Terminator 1984.
You know what honestly shocked me was, you know, for a lot of people that threw shade at Strange New Worlds for depending on CGI for everything, the Gorn in that episode that people accused of being like Alien. When that Gorn was trying to get to La'an, who was trapped in that.
It was a merge of Predator and Aliens, and they treated that one girl like Newt. It was very
but when La'an was
obvious.
when La'an was trapped in that box and the Gorn was trying to get in and get to her, that was a puppet. That was not a CG Gorn. The only time they used CG was when you saw the Gorn full body running across the room.
Yeah. Hey, ABJ, thanks for stopping by. Sorry you're gonna leave, but yes, Fraggle Rock does rock indeed.
Oh, hey, ABJ. Sorry.
Yeah, but ABJ, he, she, them, whatever, hasn't seen this episode yet, so they're gonna dip out.
You don't have to offend people with pronouns.
I was being all inclusive. I don't know what to like. I don't know what AB. You know what I mean? I'm trying not to get. I might have said her, and ABJ's a dude, or trans, or something like. I don't know, man.
They or it.
Let's go with the science fiction nerd thing and just say, "Hey, fellow entity, ABJ."
Hey, fellow human.
Well, that's assuming they're species now.
Yeah, you're a speciest.
Some people, man, just assuming they're human.
See, man, you can't do anything without offending anyone.
You can't win, so don't bother playing the game.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so after Grogu gets in trouble for trying to grab one of the Fraggles as a pet,
Didn't he do it? Didn't he do it twice? In my mind, he did it.
Yeah,
Okay,
he did.
okay,
He
okay.
tried to grab him, and Din pushed him away, and then he tried to grab him again, and it was hilarious.
No.
That was like one of my favorite parts of the whole show was him trying to stop him from.
Matthew wondered if he was going to try to eat him.
Yeah, yeah, we didn't get to see him eat anything. That's like one of my favorite things that he does on the show is eat things he's not supposed to eat.
Well,
like,
yeah,
the only thing he ate was a not M&M.
Yeah.
Well, and baby embryos.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, in this episode, the only thing he ate
yeah.
was the not M&M there.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
we didn't. It's too bad that wasn't a product placement, too.
It's like, how do they have M&Ms in a galaxy far, far away?
Yeah, Skittles. Where were you at, buddy?
Yeah,
right. And you could have said yes. They could taste the rainbow here. But all right. So he gets in his ship and he's like, okay, I'm gonna find the part and bring it to you. So that's his fetch quest now. Is he needs to find a memory circuit for an IG-11 droid.
He has accepted his Skyrim quest.
Yes, he's accepted his quest. He will gain 10,000 experience points and an IG-11 droid.
Yeah, man.
Which I don't know how where's he gonna put the IG-11 droid with that little ship?
Yeah, man. Like,
I guess he could strap him to the bottom.
I guess that's the least of his concerns. I mean,
I'm for me, the answer to that is just piecing bits and pieces out of the trailers for the show.
Yeah,
he's gonna get one of those wicked Mandalorian ships. The one
like he used to have before it got blowed up.
No, that wasn't a Mandalorian.
No, not the transport. One of the I'm never gonna get the name right.
Like the Slave One style ship.
No, they're a huge wing with a central pod, and the wing assembly actually will rotate around the central pod.
Okay.
They were in the cartoons a lot, and they showed up in season 2 of this show. They actually did have one or two of them. But there's a bunch more in the trailer for season 3, so it's going to be pretty cool.
Right on. Well, let's get to the space thing because I want to point something out or ask you guys about something in space.
So he takes off, and in his custom Naboo racing ship, and
yeah, they just had to include something from the prequels.
As soon as he it's not a bad looking ship.
I know.
But shortly after he takes off, he runs into those filthy, dirty Kurogan pirates, and unfortunately, the pirates are kind of pissed off at him because he killed 4 other pirates, and so they start shooting at him, and they start getting into a dogfight. So, thoughts on the dogfight, Danny?
Okay, so this is like a nerd thing. I'm sorry. They had this, and they just had this in Picard. Twice, and so I loved it. Did you notice the Voyager dong in this?
No.
Yeah, dude, go back and I'm telling you, I heard it because I was like,
in this fight? No, I did not know.
Yeah, because they do it in one of the old movies, one of the prequels, but it's longer and bigger, and it's because he blew something up. But in this one,
no, that's that's Slave One dropping the sonic.
The sonic, no, but yes, that was more sustained and it was actually more badass than the Voyager one. There was a now I'm gonna have to look for it. So you guys didn't hear it, you didn't think that, you don't?
No, I didn't catch that.
No, it never stood out to me. No.
Okay, all right, damn, all right, because I always love it when I hear that sound because that was invented by that kid. I don't remember if it was you. I talked to you about that the other day.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so somehow he manages to outfight an entire squadron of fighters because he's Mando. But then he runs into
Because
a
he's
design of Star Destroyer that the pirate captain has. And let me see. Let me bring this down so I can bring up. So somehow the pirate captain actually owns a Star Destroyer, which is, I got to say, pretty impressive.
Now we paused there and we stared at that thing trying to figure out what it is, and it looks like it's a seriously modified either Hammerhead Corvette, or they stole the front off of a Hammerhead Corvette and slapped it on some kind of smaller Imperial ship, and then made it all sleek.
There we go.
Of course, first reaction was it looks like a miniature version of the Eclipse.
Yeah.
Which isn't in
That
canon
looked like
quite
an
yet.
Imperial ship.
Yeah.
Does it though? I don't get that. It's got like it's got zebra stripes on it. It's got a weird shape.
Well, just because it has a custom paint job.
Well, I mean, but even the shape doesn't look or not
there's
Imperial.
There's a point where they look
Imperial
from the top and you get more of the triangular shape. But they've got a lot of swoopiness on this. There's no question.
I mean, is that are we looking at, is this the front of the ship that looks like a beak of a bird or a pterodactyl? That's like the front of the ship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of like the front of
I've,
those Hammerhead Corvettes.
I've never seen. Really? You think that? Okay. All right.
Oh, remember in Retcon 1 when that Hammerhead pushed the Star Destroyer into the other Star Destroyer?
No, because I haven't watched.
You haven't seen Rogue One?
No. Oh, I thought he said The Last Jedi. I was.
No.
Retcon 1.
I said Retcon 1, Rogue One.
No. No.
Darren says that you hear the dong sound in everything. He thinks it's the weed. And Bird says you were high.
No, you know what would have made that funny, Darren? You missed a huge opportunity. You would have said, Dork Knight hears that bong sound and everything. I think it's the weed. That would have been funny. You, sir, failed. Anyway, I don't think that's it. You're saying this is an Imperial ship? That's what you think?
Well,
I think it's a repurposed
remember,
one.
The Empire is dissolved.
At this point, is it? Where are we at?
It's heavily fractured. We're a couple years past the Endor. I think we're like 5 or 6 years.
No, we're past Jedi.
No, that's
Endor is Jedi.
Huh?
Battle of Endor is how they actually pegged
Endor.
on
I
the
thought
time.
you said Andor.
Yeah. No, Endor.
Yeah.
It's Canadian. So this is before the Republic or whatever it was called in the.
This is during the New Republic, but
this is the birth of the New Republic right now.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So technically, the Empire is gone. So there are fragmented segments of the old Empire that are still around, like Thrawn and his forces. But then there's also like old Imperial ships that are just derelicts that people could get a hold of. And that's what I think this is.
All right. Well, let's carry on.
All right. So anyway, so he's like,
I'm going to be a part of the YouTube.
And you see, that definitely looks like an Imperial bridge right there.
That sticky uppy effect. Yeah, that wanting to be over top of everything.
Yeah.
Maybe this is like you said, the birth of the New Republic. So it's just like you're just rolling out a new design based off of some old designs, because it looks different enough to me where it just didn't feel like,
There you go. So this guy, that is some
seaweed.
That's some incredible makeup right there.
It's like Swamp Thing, alien species or something.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, is that practical or is that CG? And then I realized it's practical. I'm like, dang, that is practical. Holy crap, that is amazing. So, props to the makeup department once again for doing just an incredible job with their creature design. Granted, this guy seems totally, even though it's practical in the effects, he seems like an impractical species. Like, shouldn't he be? I mean, like, wouldn't everybody else on the ship be complaining about the relative humidity on the ship for him to be able to survive? And
if that's what's going on there, yeah. If it's
Yeah.
actually seaweed,
yeah. So he's like, yeah, we got guns locked on you. You might as well just surrender now. And of course, he hits his little supercharger button and leaves instantly, which is a very handy feature.
Right. It's like that NOS button in Fast and Furious movies.
Right.
You know?
At which, of course, we know now will take a car into space. And so maybe this is a Fast and Furious TV show.
Who knows? I still haven't seen that one. I checked out when that
Oh yeah, they take a car
Paul
into
Walker died.
space. So,
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
I've heard. You know, that's what I've heard.
yeah,
much
so they
laughter was had.
Yeah.
so they hit a hyperspace thing and they go to a castle, and
Is this the old man Luke planet?
yeah, it's beautiful. And again, look at this. This looks real. And again, so we were talking about like the practical effects, but the computer generated effects are absolutely stunning. You know, because you can't tell what is practical and what's not. And that's
that castle's clearly not there, but man, it looks like it's there.
right. And it's like, okay, so the castle is obviously computer generated, but is this coastline?
I don't know.
Right. Neither do I. You know,
And I love that.
yeah.
That's what I was talking about with those critters. It's like
Right.
they're either practical or if it's CG, that damn CG has gotten really good.
So that's something that I'm really appreciating about the show, is that from a technical level, Lucasfilm has nailed it.
Yeah. Now I tell you what, so I'm at the, what mark am I at?
Huh?
I'm at like the 29-minute mark. This is where he's flying in.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I feel like, I hate to say it, but I kind of feel like it's all CG. I mean, it doesn't look like it. I'm not saying that because it looks like it. I'm just saying that because
Well, probably is, because you know,
Yeah.
I know this type of CG is relatively easy to do, but it's still very impressive because it looks so real.
yeah.
And Alex Kurtzman has tipped $1.
Super chat.
So thank you, Mr. Kurtzman, who says this show is way too bright. Completely unrealistic. Well, thank you for your opinion, Mr. Kurtzman.
Please don't get Jason started on the lighting issues with the
Yeah, I know. You
Well-
can actually see stuff in this show.
We'll just turn the f-stop down a couple on the whole episode, and then that'll fix it.
Yeah, I was thinking about like bringing it into DaVinci Resolve and adjusting the lighting so you can't see anything, and then saying if The Mandalorian was produced by Alex Kurtzman.
So well, let's get to the big
so he lands at the castle, and you're like, what the heck? And he actually tells Grogu this is a Mandalorian castle. And even as he gets out of the ship.
Is this supposed to be what's left of Mandalore or no?
No, he's not
Okay.
he's in the Mandalorian system, but this
Okay.
is not Mandalore.
Okay.
And so, but even now, what in this shot is real and what in this shot is CG?
I'll tell you right now what's real. The prop device ship thing he's getting out of, and him, and everything else is not real.
So you don't
And
think
probably
any
certain
of that is
Probably certain elements of the ship he's getting out of are probably not actually real. I'd venture to wager that 1/4, 2/3 or 1/3, 1/4 or 1/3 max of that ship is practical, and like the rest of it's enhanced with CG along with everything else but him. That's what I think. That's just my opinion, man. I don't know.
What do you think, Jason?
at the very most, some of the lower foreground components could be real.
Mm-hmm.
I would bet 2/3 to 3/4 of it is not.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the droid is CG.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Oh,
for sure.
that the giant structure he's standing in front of is CG, and the
Right.
things outside. I'm telling you, I actually I think all of it except for the most of the ship and
What about the ring?
and
Completely
Mando.
CG?
Oh hell yeah, yeah, that's easy. They've been CGI and Rain forever, man. Yeah, Thomas Potts. Probably the ground he's walking on is real. I mean,
and Kermit says, "I like the way they waved away Cara Dune." Well, you know, they were going to at least mention her, just so there was an in-universe explanation.
Oh wow, I missed it. What was the in-universe?
Oh, they said that she was recruited by special forces.
It was back when
Carl Weathers
when he was talking
was
to
trying to recruit him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to be the new.
Yeah, when he
sheriff.
asked, he asked him, he asked Mando to be the.
Oh,
new
don't you already
sheriff.
have one? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
He said, "Why don't you have Cara Dune do it?"
Yeah.
So anyway, so he walks. You see, these steps look practical.
But no, they are practical, but they're also bright neon green.
You think so? You don't think those steps
Yeah.
are built?
I don't think they would go that far. I think
I don't
those
know, man.
foreground elements.
Jason is CGI according to Thomas.
Yeah. So.
Well,
anyway.
my ears keep disappearing.
By the way, why did you change your name to Mordak?
Oh, I'm just leaning into my escapades from this week.
Okay.
Mordak from the Dilbert cartoons. Mordak, the preventer of IT services.
Come on, man. I was trying to wait to get a refill and pee when this because there's only like 2 minutes of this episode left. It shouldn't take us 20 more minutes to get through. Come on.
You know, what'd be funny is that if this entire set was practical, wouldn't that be hilarious? We see a behind the scenes thing. Even the droid is practical. You know,
that would be funny, but there's no way that droid's practical. There's just no damn way.
Why? They made IG-88 practical.
Hey,
IG-88 was mostly practical.
Well, yeah. Hey,
no. So you never know.
Now you got me. They're going to release that behind the magic thing.
So and then finally we get to see Bo-Katan chilling on her throne all alone because the rest of her Mandalorians abandoned her because she didn't have the dark saber.
You know, I'm bummed. Sasha
and
Banks.
Yes, it's true, Thomas. Disney is bankrupt because
Sasha Banks should have come back. Her character would not have left her. That's fine.
What?
Mm-hmm. So earlier somebody was like, he did go to her for help, but he went. It was kind of. I didn't want her to help him because he wants help with something that she is morally diametrically opposed to, just not. No.
She's opposed to the way that the clan that is the crazy people.
Yeah, which he's trying to get the good graces of, and she's like, no, you shouldn't F them. You shouldn't be with them. They're crazy.
But she can benefit from it.
You know what? So she has integrity. So she has integrity. Okay, that's cool.
Well, not just that. Remember, if she can show that Mandalore is salvageable and rebuild, then she can rule a new Mandalore.
And she's probably pissed that he didn't give her the darksaber.
He offered it to her.
Well, not give her, but that she didn't get the darksaber. So she was resentful.
Oh yeah.
She would have to take it from him in combat.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and so yeah, she's just kicking.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they're continuing, which I'm sure they are, they're continuing Bo-Katan's character in general. She was kind of wishy-washy throughout the series in Clone Wars and Rebels anyway, where
we'll see. I haven't watched
she would get despondent real quick and not want to bother trying anymore. And then people would have to inspire her to try. And there was a big thing with, I can't remember the character's name. And we're going to, as long as a lot of the other productions do end up happening, we're probably going to see her is a Mandalorian that was younger than Bo-Katan, who actually found the dark saber and actually fought Bo-Katan and lost to her.
Do you see this shit stain? Do you see him just like?
Hello,
You don't
cat.
have to say that about your cat. That's
No,
not
look,
very-
he's on my printer, man. He's like, he just hops up on top of everything, like he owns the.
You know
place.
what?
It's
That's what you
warm.
get for owning a cat. You know, I will tell you. Let me explain something to you. All right, there's a breed of cat called a ragdoll. We specifically researched cats and searched until we
My
could
friend had
find-
one of those.
Yeah, we got a ragdoll. Do you know why we got a ragdoll?
Why?
Because ragdolls can't jump.
Because they're lazy.
No, they're not lazy. They just don't have good jumping ability. And so they can't get up on the counters. They can't get up on top of your printer. They can't get up on top of your crap.
But
They
man,
just-
they are soft and cuddly and cute.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
there you go. Get a ragdoll.
It's so funny because anyway, back to this show because I got so this is the one of the I think this is like the final shot of the episode before the credits, right? Is that
Not
where you're at?
quite, because they have their little conversation. So,
Oh, I thought this was the zoom out. So like
No.
it ends, I guess, the same way it begins. So that's
Yeah. So Bo-Katan and Din have a really interesting conversation where now Din confirms to her that he still has the dark saber, which she then says that he should then go out and lead the Mandalorians and wave it around
Mhm.
and inspire them. And so she's completely wishy-washy. She's just kind of given up.
Yeah, well,
and-
yeah.
I
I did not expect her like in this scene. I don't know if either of you did. I never once thought, oh, she might join Team Mando and help him out. It never once crossed my mind. And I feel like this is staying very true to the character that was established. Now I haven't watched the cartoons, but the character that was established in the previous season.
Pretty much somebody else will have to push her to actually team up.
Right. So she kicks butt, but she needs somebody to push her.
Mm.
And but she also thinks that Mando is a foolish relic because he holds on to the old ways of not taking off his helmet. And stuff.
Exactly. And then he's coming here specifically. His goal is to get back into the good graces of this, psychopathic part of the Mandos because he took his mask off.
Now, why do you
Yeah.
keep saying they're psychopathic?
Oh, I don't know. Sorry. Give me a different word to use and I'll use it. My bad.
Adherent?
Extremist.
Devoted?
I don't know.
I mean, I understand that. Look, I would agree that their devotion seems a little weird, especially since they don't seem to be following anything to a higher power. That's kind of weird because they just seem to worship weapons. But
This is the way.
yeah, this is the way. So that's the weird thing about their religion is that they're not even worshiping a higher power. But just because they follow the old ways doesn't make them psychopathic.
You're right. I'm sorry. That would be like me calling all Jews psychopathic. I apologize. You're right.
Yeah.
They're just Old Testament. My bad.
So I think that's a little unfair. But she just thinks that they're crazy because they are old-fashioned, more or less. And hey, Cece.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there.
I'll be back.
So he just abandons us again.
Toodles.
Hey,
Hey man, I have my priorities straight. Isn't that what you said earlier? Like, I just
yeah, that
got
doesn't
home.
mean you just leave the show willy-nilly.
No,
you
well,
know?
I just said I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be right back.
30 seconds.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, 30 seconds is all he needs.
So this is the camera tracking would stop it. That's that ship, the one that the wings go up
Where?
in behind me.
Oh, well, it's
Yeah, I know. It's kind of pointless. I put the image in the private chat if you want to bring it up at some point, but that's the ship I think
well, can't you share a
that we're
picture
going to
of it?
see.
You can't share it on a different screen?
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, you know. Mr. IT guy.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing the lazy mode. All right.
Yes, Bird, Danny insulted a certain religious group. I know that's hard to believe.
That guy.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that park that was parked over when he went to Bo-Katan's place.
Yeah, you can still see the Razor Crest is alive because this is from season 1. But yeah, these things were in Rebels a lot, and you see them in the trailer for this season. So I assume that we're going to get a lot more action from these things, which is going to be cool. Because if you take away my space wizards, I would like to have my spaceships, please.
We do see there's space wizards too, and I am definitely on Team Space Wizard.
Oh, I like me some space wizard, but I absolutely love that entire combat scene in the last act of this episode.
See, what I want to see is Mandalorians with lightsabers.
Oh, the only one was that ever happened was the Darksaber. That was the lore on that is that was the first and only Mandalorian Jedi, and that was his lightsaber, but it was that stylized Darksaber, and that's it. No one else ever did. And all of the weapons the crazy, insane weapons that you see get used by the Mandalorians, almost all of them were inspired by the war with the Jedi. So all the Beskar and the fact that it basically can't be cut by lightsabers, and the wrist grappling hooks and all of that.
Yeah, I had this idea for cosplay Mandalorian armor, where you would have like a section of wrist armor that protruded a little bit out down your forearm, and then when you hit a button, you would have Wolverine like lightsaber blades come out. And that would be kind of cool, like 3 lightsaber blades pop out. Yeah, in the Wolverine configuration. What do you think?
Hey, they slapped it on that ship in Andor.
Yeah.
He did the Spinema thing and slice and diced.
So but what do you think of my idea?
I like it. I think it's...
And then what color would they be?
They'd have to be the color of your clan colors, whatever clan color you chose to be as a Mandalorian. So it totally, and I say that on purpose so that it totally breaks the whole, the kyber crystal matches the individual.
Right.
The Mandalorians force the kyber crystal to match the color of their clan, because you've got the Sith always have to make their kyber crystals. They're artificial, and that's why they always turn red. And the Jedi always find them naturally, and they always the crystal chooses the Jedi as much as the Jedi finds the crystal, and and then the color just is.
Well, and the color is a reflection of the Jedi's personality.
Yeah. But I like the idea of where if you make it so that it has to match the color scheme of your clan, then that fits into the whole, armor smithing and weapon smithing aspect of the Mandalorian.
Well, and the quest too, because you would have to quest for a specific crystal color.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
might have to try, like if you were going to have a full set of 6 blades, you would have to collect 6 crystals in order to, or at least 2 crystals that would be, fabricated into 2 sets of blades.
Yeah.
And that would have to be fabricated by a armorer. Any day now, Danny will come back.
Did you see what Thomas put in the chat?
Can you find giant Palpatine statue in Minecraft? You can place it across abandoned castle on top of that hill across from my place. Oh, you jerk. Danny. We're at the very end of the episode. Come on, buddy. All right. Well, we're just going to finish up without him. All right. So they have their conversation, and she's just like, no, I will not help you because you're an idiot.
And then that's it. And then
art
and fade to black.
Yeah. And so what did you think of that? What did you think of her refusing to help?
I think it fits the Bo-Katan character that I'm very familiar with.
Yeah.
And it fits into the continuing issues that the Mandalorians have had that has actually been told as a part of official canon in the Star Wars universe as well. So I like it. I mean, it can come across as petulant, but I like it because it's consistent and it fits with everything else going on.
Right.
So I personally didn't have any issue with it. Now, the only time I'm going to start taking issue with things is how it is that they decide to motivate her to actually get involved. If it's really dumb,
right,
and it's, to Danny's
Martha,
about
why did you say that name?
Like thing needs to happen for plot to happen.
Right.
Yeah, I want to say, hey, Aravic. Aravic's over in the chat on my channel, so thank you for stopping by.
Oh, Aravic's on the bad channel. Gotcha.
No, I mean, there's nobody in mine. It's pathetic. It's just there to build content.
By the way, we've all decided that we should start insulting your beliefs.
Okay, well, luckily I don't believe in anything, so.
Well, no, but anything you do believe, we should insult it.
Well,
because since you've insulted other people's beliefs, that must mean you want people to insult whatever you believe.
No, I just want people to have free thought, and I didn't mean to insult.
Oh no, because you said do unto others as you want others to do unto you. So you want people to insult your beliefs.
Sure, if they feel like, hey man, I mean, sticks and stones will break my bones, words will never hurt me. All you soft ass millennials can kiss my ass. I don't care. Yeah, say whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Anyway, I wanted to get back to the point where you see how they bookended this scene. This is the exact same shot from earlier when he walks in. And when he, so I actually, stylistically, I liked that.
Yeah. So Bo-Katan basically says, F you, not helping.
Which to me, which I find funny because Jason was making the point that, what, baby? Nine. Jason was making the point that the Bo-Katan he knows, because apparently he's watched all the cartoons and I haven't. But she also jives with the Bo-Katan that I know from last season. So as long as Jason and I are still driving on this character, I think we're good about that, right? Wouldn't you say, Jace? Or
that's what we were talking about while you were gone.
Sorry,
you missed the conversation.
No, she's solid the way she is. Like I say, unless it better not be some insane contrivance that they forced into it to make it happen.
So then but now let's get into the overall. So you did not like the episode overall, Danny, but you didn't say anything bad about the individual things.
Let me explain. So
I know. So explain.
Okay, so I think I wish we'd have done this, especially if you look at the time. We have well, I guess not really, because in 15 minutes, that's 2 hours.
Minutes. So
okay, well, never mind then, because I was going to say almost think we should do 2 at a time because I don't know. I feel like hopefully I'm being cautiously optimistic or cautiously pessimistic, depending on your point of view, that at the end of episode 2, the problems I'm having that cause me to like, if this were a binary system, I had to give it an up or a down, I would give it a down. With the hope that retroactively, when I see the story as a whole, I would give it an up. And that's the problem with these TV shows today.
Yeah, serialized television.
It's like if you're not gonna, and I understand why they don't. There's an argument to be made for both sides. Like something like this should just be dropped all at once, because that's how you're effing making it. You're making it one long story. Whereas like Star Trek: The Next Generation, for example, I could completely, I mean, at least after season 3, watch out of order, just because the costume changes would be a little jarring. But you could basically you could watch, except for 2-parters or whatever, it was episodic. You didn't have to, if you jump in at season 2, episode 7, you're not completely and totally lost. Sure, they might reference something, but it's not so pivotal to your enjoyment of the show. So that's why I know it sounds like a cop-out, but that's why I say retroactively I might change my mind about this episode because it might be made better by what comes after it. Because
I agree.
This is not a complete story, and this story could get a lot worse.
Well,
but it could also get a lot better.
Well, I said the same thing about Picard when I said that a lot of my problem with Picard was that, hey, and he disappears again, of course. Did he? You're muted.
I'm sorry, CC came over and was just I can't do 2 things at once, and she was
no, I understand.
So
anyway, but like with Picard, when the show, I said, where is the show going is going to make a huge difference.
Love you too, baby. Be safe. Sorry, she's heading out.
That's right. So where the show is going is going to make a huge difference. If the next 6 episodes of Picard are Picard and what's her name, Vedic, playing bridge on that planet, then it's going to suck.
You mean the nebula, inside the nebula?
Yeah, like say there's a planet in the nebula and they just beam down to the planet. And
has there ever, I got question for you nerds out there. Has there ever been a planet inside of a nebula, like completely hidden planet in a nebula?
Well, right, in real life, don't know, but in stories, yeah, we had the Briar Patch in Star Trek.
Yeah,
from First Contact, there was a planet in the Briar Patch.
In the Briar Patch, that planet was.
That was Insurrection. That was Insurrection.
Yeah, that was the one with the.
That was a planet in a nebula.
Oh, so the planet with regenerative.
Yeah, that was in a nebula.
That was inside a nebula.
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you, guys.
Anyway, so if it's something stupid like that, then I'm going to, retroactively say that the first 2 episodes were complete garbage.
Exactly. Well, we've done that with the first 2 seasons of Picard.
If you look at the first 2 seasons of Picard, where you start out saying, yes, this is awesome, and then you say, oh, never mind.
It was a mixture, Aravic, to answer your question, it was a mixture of the genesis of a moon and a nebula. And that's why it was unstable. So
no, it's unstable because there's proto matter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah.
But the problem
that's because Kirk's son cheated.
Yeah. So that is a problem with serialized storytelling. So you never know whether the series is going to be good until it completely unfolds, and whether it's like Book of Boba Fett, right? Book of Boba Fett sucked, but then the last 3 episodes were great.
The only good episodes were the ones that were Mandalorian 2.5.
Those were the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the back door into this show.
The lead into this series.
And why do we only get, if you look here, let me pull up. So if you take out all the intro and the end credits, this was
It's a half-hour show. That's what.
Yeah, it's a
30
solid
minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Why like drop 2 at a time at least? I don't know. Cause like I know we got off track a little bit, pontificated. I actually want to like get you off track with another subject I've been dying to talk about, but I won't do it right now. And it's just it's just so frustrating to me especially with the serialized shows. Like,
So
give me 2 at a time.
from watching this series and all of these episodes from season 1 and 2, and now obviously with this first of season 3, they've all been short. They're not
Right,
classic
that's
hour
what-
long.
No,
They're not 42 minutes.
I
But
get
I
that.
also, and well, so if we carry on with where I was going with this, you've got what's being done with the Picard season 3 episodes, where it seems as though after the first one they've dropped back to quote unquote standard TV length. And one of the things that I've enjoyed about a few different series that have been aired and spaced apart week at a time, The Boys and The Expanse, and there's one other I can't think of. They make the episode long enough, full stop. Meaning that if the episode has to be an hour and 12 minutes, it's an hour and 12 minutes. If it only has 53 minutes of content, it gets 53 minutes. So I find, and this was a huge problem for me for this week's episode of The Last of Us. I'm finding that people don't know, either don't know or are unwilling to edit better.
So I refuse to watch The Last of Us. I played that video game with my girlfriend at the time and my roommate at the time, and this was years ago. I mean, that game came out years ago, and we actually bought the PlayStation 3.
Oh, good, I can't maneuver. Stay on target. We're too close. Stay on target.
Where'd he go? Danny, get back here.
Oh, you can't take off after the first time we used that. That's awesome. No.
Get back here, Danny. Come on.
We lost Red Leader.
And let's see. Danny, come on. Come on. Anyway, so Jason, what did you think of the episode? Hopefully Danny will come back.
So far, I like the promise.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing particularly unforgivable going on in the episode. And as much as Crocatortus and the silliness with IG-11 is a little on the frustrating side, it's probably, well, we know for sure Crocatortus is a throwaway.
Right.
So other than it being the reason why, Din Djarin gets an awesome intro, he was still coming to see the armor no matter what. So you can kind of hand wave that out of the complaint bucket as far as the overall story goes. The IG-11
Mercer, I care, and I agree with you, Mercer. And if I had controls like he gives Bird, I'd share your comment. But I feel you, man. I feel you.
But the IG-11 Quest of the Week thing, if they beat that thing to death, it's going to be annoying, because there needs to be the thing that freaked me out with how good or bad this show overall is going to be, or has been, is this obsession with every episode as a quest. And unless it serves a really good grand narrative,
can I be devil's advocate? I actually kind of feel in a way the opposite might be better, because instead of making it serialized, if you give the guy, so like, let's say, kind of like in other shows have done this, you have an overarching kind of goal, we'll call it, right? In every episode, you've got different side quests that you have to achieve that help you get to that goal. But if you do it correctly and episodically, you don't necessarily have to watch those in order. Maybe just a couple, you know, and if there's 2 back to back, you make them to be continued type of thing. Because just like I've been used to my whole life, I actually think that could be better. But I feel like instead they basically make an 8-hour movie and chop it up into 8 parts and call them episodes. An episode is supposed to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. What the hell was the beginning and the middle and the end? Okay, well, we got the beginning because it's the beginning of this season. We're nowhere near a middle or an end yet. I don't even think this is the end of the beginning. You know what I mean?
Right. There was not a complete story here. But that's a problem with almost all serialized television. That's a problem with Picard. That's a problem with this. It's a problem.
No, and I get that. And that's why I'm
Discovery.
saying, I mean, think about it, Jason, or maybe I misunderstood you. I don't know, but like, I almost feel like if let's say the main goal for this season, and this might be exactly what you're talking about, so you might totally disagree with me. But the main goal of this season is Mando wants to redeem his honor or whatever, redeem himself, do the bathe in the whatever it's called thing, so people will
Pools of Mandalore.
Thank you, the pools of Mandalore. So his cult will, or his sect or group, or insert synonym here. I'm not trying to be offensive. Jesus Christ.
They'll take him back.
Yeah, to take him back. And so let's say, so we've planted that seed already. We know that. So we got the setup.
Just saying.
And by the end of the, oh, we did. Okay. Super chat.
So Mercer tipped $1 and says Mando went from badass bounty hunter to family-friendly tour guide. No edge. I thought he was going back to the mechanic lady for a droid part, but went to see Bo-Katan. Where's the narrative flow?
First of all, he was a badass. Did you not see him mow down 4 of those pirates without breaking a sweat? Like, come on.
And then waste
and then
4 more.
6 more.
Space.
Yeah, I mean, like Mercer. You know, I agreed with you earlier, brother. I can't agree with you on that, and it's sad because that's the one you pay.
He is still a badass, even if he's you know.
Hey, man, he might be a daddy now, but he's a badass daddy now. So, where was I before the super chat?
So you were getting into the his main plot line is redemption. Yeah.
Is redemption. So we got the planting of that seed in episode 1. And what are there 8 episodes this season? Is that right?
I don't know if it's 8 or 10.
Let me see here.
So I'll just say whatever it is, 8 the final episode of the season should conclude that arc. And if we're going to have a season 4, set up season 4 with some type of cliffhanger.
Right.
But in between those episodes, you could totally do, let's say it's 10 from
8 episodes.
It's 8. Fuck, it's 8. Okay, so
that's only 4. That's only 4 hours of content.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like watching the extended version of Lord of the Rings. Just give it to me at once. I don't know, man.
One extended edition Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even all 3.
No, just one of them. Yeah. No,
yeah.
So yeah, so I don't know, man. It's just, I feel like it would be better.
Peter Jackson's like, man, that's one episode. What's your
problem? Right? So going back, so I can finally put a bow on my point here. So if we planted the seed in episode 1, let's say we get the payoff in episode 8 with the setup for season 4. But in between there, I guess we'd only have, so that would be 6 episodes. So I'd say at least 3 of those episodes should be like, you could do it episodically. Like you could make it to where he's got these side quests he's got to do, but you don't necessarily have to watch them in order. But the other thing I'm thinking of though is, I don't know if that would work, because back in the day, episodic television was 20 to 30 episodes a season. You know what I mean?
I think what you could do with where you're going with this maybe is that you could, and this would be really contingent on Disney producing several other Star Wars shows at the same time, that you could have it almost like,
sorry, I gotta blow my nose.
When he says blow his nose,
Go-
he
go
means
ahead,
get
go
his
ahead.
bone.
Keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that you have a couple of other Star Wars shows that are very storyline, like overarching storyline dependent. So they're pushing the entire Star Wars universe narrative forward. And then you have the Mandalorian show, where it's almost like watching Happy Days, where you've got these crossovers with other shows just for the sake of having the crossover. But the crossover event happens on the Mandalorian show, where he happens to have to help,
So
somebody from one of the other shows. So whether it's like helping Ahsoka or helping,
did they release shit later in Canada than they did in America? 'Cause I'm curious because I thought Happy
He's
Days.
watching this on Disney Plus.
No,
he's talking about in the past. No, we got the
Yeah.
same stuff. We got the same stuff at the same
No,
time.
I thought Happy Days was the show that spun off other shows. That's what I.
It did, yeah, but
So like that's a backwards analogy, then, isn't it? 'Cause
yeah, but in the same, but like that same idea, but actually turn it around and make it so that Laverne and Shirley showing up is actually
or Mork and Mindy. Didn't that
yeah,
come
or
from
Mork
Happy-
and Mindy, yeah.
Well, I think that let me suggest this
Sure.
as far as this episode. To make a good single episode, like when we look at past seasons of The Mandalorian, that I think both of you would agree that you've enjoyed past seasons of Mandalorian.
Oh hell yeah!
But what makes a good episode, even in a serialized story, is that you feel like each episode has a story within it, even if it's part of a larger overarching story.
That's what I was trying to. You
right,
said it better.
right. I know you
better
were
than
trying to say that, but
Yeah,
kind of couldn't articulate it.
Thank
So,
you. Yes.
like, if in this particular episode, from what we saw today, if the story was about Killer Croc attacking them, attacking the Mandalorians, and then Din Djarin shows up and learns about Killer Croc and helps the Mandalorians formulate a plan to kill.
I like Crocotortus better.
Okay, Crocotortus, and then
because
Din
he did.
Djarin
It
shows
looked
up
like
and helps them formulate a plan to kill Crocotorus, and that's the thrust of the story. And then, like, the last 5 minutes are him going to Navarro and talking about IG-88 and killing the pirates.
You mean IG-11?
Or IG-11 and killing the pirates. Then we would have a little bit more satisfaction because we'd feel like we got a story. The story was about Killer Croc. And then the quest piece was, okay, now he's going to get pieces of IG-11.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah. You know what? Thank you. It's like you tapped into my brain. You articulated what I could not.
I think I see, but I think the problem is that they were trying, because I don't think they wanted to go to 10 or 11 episodes. So instead,
why not? They don't like me. I mean, if this show is,
I don't know.
If it's truly the hit.
I'm not executive at Disney.
Well, I get that, but that makes me wonder. Maybe this show is not because they don't. We have no they.
We have no idea what the numbers are.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Know that Baby Yoda merchandise is a hot topic.
Oh yeah,
it's so off the hook crazy that one of the funny merchandise things that I saw when I was down south, they have bags of gummy frogs.
Mm-hmm.
The frog eggs,
little frog eggs or tadpoles or whatever. They have bags of those in gummy. So I mean, they are, yeah. You just got to put Baby Yoda on anything, and
so I do think that the show is probably successful, and I don't know.
Then okay, so if that, let's say I agree with you, and the show, which it probably is, show successful. If you have a successful show, and you'd only got to do 2 to 4 more episodes to make it a good story on top of a successful show. I mean, you're just going to keep making more money, aren't you? Like case in point.
Well, and there's no way to your point that they couldn't take, an extra week or two in a storyboard room and work that the rest of the way out. I mean, freaking, you watch What We Left Behind. They came up with the plot for an entire episode of freaking DS9 in like an afternoon.
It was oh god, my one of my best friends, Eric, and I, we took a small group of people to go watch the Fathom event at the movie theaters of that. Got a poster and everything. Man, like I wish they could have. Anyway, before you were so mean to me earlier, I just remembered what I was talking about. Luke Skywalker. He flew in and said, "Stay on target," or not Luke Skywalker. Some fat.
Oh, the guys, from the original Star Wars.
Stay on target.
Well, no, video game that had nothing to do with this.
I'm sure there was some kind of tie-in. Otherwise, he wouldn't have brought it up. And all I was going to say was, I haven't seen the show because I didn't want to watch the show because I played the game and I loved the game, and it was such a communal experience with me and a few other people because we all played it together. And like, my girlfriend got mad at me if we, played it without her, which we did only one time because, she got really mad, and so when you're that passionate about something, you want it to be good. And I knew they'd mess it up. I knew they'd mess it up. And so I call it the Picard rule. If I have friends that love it at the end of episode 3, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it's like a miniature version of an old coworker of mine. His rule was he'll only ever watch a series if it lasts 3 seasons.
Well, no, because Picard burnt me and my friends in real time. Michael was only a part of that for part of the 2nd season. I was there since the day one with multiple guests, with multiple like because we rotate just like they do now on Saturdays. We rotate people out, and it was soul crushing, man. First 2 episodes of Picard give us hope. We love it. 3rd falls off a cliff. We're hate watching it by the 4th. You know what I mean? It's just terrible.
I mean, I guess the if you want to go with the negative approach review for me, I have not yet had a moment with any of the quibbles in this that matches that insane throwaway blather of technobabble from Picard season 1, episode 1, with the Irish help, with the magic quantum device, being able to freaking replay history because of someone's fart particles moving around the room.
Yeah,
we tied it back into Star Trek, Michael.
And
even threw a fart joke in too.
So,
it's a fart joke. It's fart particles that can actually tell you the history of the room because Romulans can do that.
Hey, you know what? That's not too far fetched because according to science, do you know why cats sniff each other's butts? I recently learned this. And this is not a joke. I have not said this is not a setup for a joke. This is God's
I know
truth.
dogs do it because it's actually literally like, who are you?
Exactly. No, it's the same. Okay, it's the same thing.
It's the same for cats. Okay.
Yeah. Basically, when a cat smells another cat's butt, somehow they can like get their life story or like the gist of who they are or something like that. And and then if they like the cat, they turn around and the other cat sniffs their butt. And if they both sniff butts and they're both cool, that's all it took for them to be like, we're homies. I know it sounds gross, but isn't that like a way simpler thing? Isn't that just way simpler than humans, the way we do it? I mean, it's just like, because I have people that love me for like 2-3 years.
Sorry.
No, I'm not asking you. I don't think it would work anyway. I'm just, anyway, Jesus.
Could you imagine walking down the street and sniffing people's butts?
No, man, we're not cats. It's not weird. Is it weird when a cat does it? No.
No, there's something far more weird and far more crass that I could actually say that I will not say. I'll message you later, Danny.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. DM me that, bro.
But yeah, I'm just picturing people walking down like New York streets and sniffing each other's butts. So I mean, it would be hilarious. But
we're already in overtime, so it's not really derailing. I did want to kind of finish my Last of Us thing because
we need to finish talking about the Mandalorian before we go into the.
So where do you feel
out of 10, Danny? What are you going to give it?
Oh, out of 10, Can I score it after I see episode 2, or do you want an independent right now honest score?
Well, just give me an independent honest score now.
4.
You could have like a contingent score
4.
and then a.
Yeah.
4.
Okay,
but
so
but
you're
I
a 4.
reserve the right to change it next week.
Well,
Is that
well,
okay? Okay. But right now it's a 4.
Jay, look, I understand.
Well, no. Okay.
Real.
I need 4 out of 10. I guess I need to specify. Not 4 out of 5. 4 out of 10.
4 out of 5 for Danny.
No, 4 out of 10.
Jason, where would you go?
Somewhere between a 6.5 and a 7. 7's a little too high, I think, but I think 6.5 is probably the safest choice because I like it.
I mean,
There's a
I think
lot
that's
of decent
generous.
consistency.
I think 6 is a decent score. You know, I don't.
But it's the IG-11 thing. If the IG-11 thing gets, if they push that too far, then it's going to cause a lot of episodes to, in effect, retroactively drop to like 5.
Yeah.
Or lower.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
See, I'm with you, Jason. I think it's so beautiful. It's well put together. Technically speaking, there's nothing wrong with it. The acting is good all the way through. The action is good all the way through. I would give it a solid 7, but I would say that it could easily drop down to a 6 or even a 5 if the IG-11 thing turns out to be really stupid. And the Bo-Katan thing turns out to be really contrived.
Well, don't I feel like the fucking asshole?
So
Name that movie.
You kind of are, but that's the.
I was quoting Jack Nicholson, but okay.
Yeah, well, you sounded more like you were being Matthew Broderick, but that's okay. But that's but it's like Danny was saying. I mean, and you're right about that, Danny. Is that this is a serialized show, so 3 episodes from now, me and Jason could be sitting there saying this is the worst show ever, and you could be saying this is awesome.
No, exactly. That's what was so brilliant about Andor. If they hadn't dropped the first 3 episodes, like if they'd have done it week to week like Mando, after I finished because I have to watch the first episode. Why did
Grief have droids holding up his cape? Because he was full of himself.
Okay, so okay, thank you interrupting. That's fine. Now I'm used. Yeah, I guess I deserve that. So
he was in all caps, so it was important. Oh. If somebody puts something in all caps in the chat, it's important.
No, when somebody super chats, you can interrupt.
Oh, sorry, Mercer. I will not interrupt him again unless you super chat.
I forgot what I was saying. It sucks because I was on a roll.
You were saying how awesome I am, and you were going to give me the money.
No, the releases of Andor.
Yes, thank you.
You're talking about how Andor is good.
So if I always knew, let's say they released Andor one at a time like Mando. I always knew I had to watch at least one episode because of you and the salty nerds. And so let's revisit history. Let's say they only did that. Okay, so after that review of the first one, Vader and I would have just torn it to shreds, said how much we hate. Sorry, I've done a lot better today though about the cussing, about how we both hated it and it was just so boring and slow and blah 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 blah. And then next week goes by, we have to watch it. Vader and I would have refused to watch any more of it at the end of episode 2, guaranteed. Okay, you needed that third episode. You know what I mean? You needed that because it was the first. So episodes 1 through 3 were like act 1 of a play. You know what I mean? And you needed that whole story. And I don't know. I feel like the Disney might be taking the Star Wars fans for granted, which in fact, I know they are. Just look at their debacle with their Star Wars hotel experience thingy that they've had.
Yeah.
They think they can just slap Star Wars on it and people will come. No, I mean, yeah, initially, but if you don't give us a good story and what we loved about Star Wars in the first place, we're not going to keep coming back just because it says Star Wars on it. You know what I mean, guys? Like, right. No.
Well, they should have read the room because we've seen the same thing happen with the Star Trek fandom.
Yeah.
Star Trek experience.
There's a huge drop off of Star Trek fans.
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna tell you right now, at the end of episode 2, Mike, if if I feel the same way I do now, I'm not gonna like you and Jason can take it from there because I need my, like my Wednesday nights are. I'm missing wrestling for this, buddy. Okay.
You're
So-
missing wrestling. What do you watch? Wrestling 7 days a week?
No, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's when they're on. That's when it's on. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Whatever.
Everybody knows Monday
Monday
Night
Night
Raw is the
Raw.
longest. Monday Night Raw is the longest episodic television show in the history of ever. Okay, even beats The Simpsons. Okay, it's like it's been on forever. SmackDown not as long, but SmackDown's on a lot, and AEW's new. Fortunately, AEW's so WWE's got a Monday and a Friday show. AEW has a Wednesday and a Friday show.
I'll tell you what, maybe in a month I'll watch a show with you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So Thomas told me to send you a link. It's in the private chat.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
he was talking about
okay. So everybody's always trying to talk me into watching the cartoons. Maybe I will, but I'm not going to do these. So I appreciate it because ironically, the same ex-girlfriend I played Last of Us with, she sent me this list of like episodes of Clone Wars and Rebels I needed to watch before X, Y, and Z came out, or like I think it was mostly Mando actually, and I was like, like if I'm going to take the time to watch it, I'm going to give it the respect to start at 1 and watch it all the way through to the end. I don't want to just like watch like little like bits and pieces of it, Do you think I'm being OCD about that, or like, are you guys like that, or?
I'm a bit of a completionist when it comes to shows, unless it just completely sets me off.
The serialized show, unless it's like offensively bad, I will finish it. And
I'm guessing.
then,
I'm guessing those
like
cartoons.
Star Trek Discovery. It's like, well, it's Star Trek. I have to watch it.
No, I don't anymore. I quit watching.
No, I will still watch Star Trek Discovery because it's Star Trek.
Well, don't ever expect me.
Star Trek Discovery has radically improved from its original.
I don't care.
I'll never go back to. I'll never.
Yeah, I will.
Yes, you will.
No, I won't.
No,
I won't.
NERDFIGHTS is going to be covering Discovery, buddy.
Well,
get ready.
Not with
me.
me.
Season 5 of Discovery.
Why do you think, dude? I left.
Oh, mercy.
I had a weekly gig, and this is probably what, I always joke about other things. This might be one of the reasons they're pissed off at me. I bailed on them because I refused to stop. I refused to keep watching Discovery, and they're like, "Oh, just watch it for the show." I was like, "No, I won't do it, man. Like, why would I do that to myself? You guys are watching.
It's not nearly as bad as it used to be.
All I know is apparently I stopped watching a few episodes before some politician was in it, and so I'm just in all my friends.
I will tell
their
you, people
faces melted off over that.
People made the biggest deal out of her being in the show.
I'm glad I didn't watch it.
Yeah, people made the biggest deal out of her being in the show, like it was like this huge political coup, when 99% of the people that watched the show, including myself, by the way, didn't know who she was, and they didn't make a single political statement during the show about it.
So
it's not like
it was her character. It was the character position she was given, and the fact that it was such an inside baseball thing for them because the Discovery crew.
That was what I was going to say.
I'm a Democrat. It's like
if you know, you know.
Exactly, and that was the problem.
That's what that was.
And it caught enough people's attention that's why everyone went into not just eye roll, but did they just have a stroke mode?
So
and I don't mind little nods because I'll bring up one that happened in this episode.
But Star Trek has done that kind of crap for decades. They did that in TNG.
Not like this. Not like this. If you actually really know, if you're over obsessive even a little bit about tracking politics, which stupidly I am, and every now and then I force myself to go on a cleanser. I know.
So
I can tell you exactly how your government works.
So you're specifically talking about you're specifically talking about American politics from the point of view
all
of
politics everywhere.
Oh, all politics. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Everywhere, but especially American, because you guys are the noisy neighbors downstairs, man. I know, you.
Man. Jesus.
Hey, but in this episode,
is it true you guys aren't taking any more refugees or immigrants or whatever I would be called?
Nah, it's Quebec. Quebec wants everybody to move everywhere else. They don't
No,
want.
I don't
Actually, we
speak
should just tell
French.
them about Alexander, and then that would fix that problem.
So,
So in
we're
this
gonna wrap it up
episode,
there. I think
yeah,
we're
in this
done
episode,
talking
there's a
about-
bit of a fan nod that I like, and that was when the Mandalorian, when Din told the frickin' I'm gonna call him Apollo Creed.
Apollo Creed. Yeah.
When he told him
Greed.
that Grogu's
His
name was Grogu, when he said that, his
Grief,
cat,
yeah.
Greed's
Grief.
character, Grief's character,
not greed, grief.
Grief,
Like
F.
wreath, but with a G.
Yeah, Griefer. He turned around and he basically said, he said, "If you say so." And for me, that was the writers acknowledging the fact that even though they named Grogu, everybody will be calling this kid Baby Yoda
Yes.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like that's like a 3.5 wall breakage where it's the writers
Oh yeah,
kind
that
of
was a
hat
fun
tipping.
moment.
I
Because even now, like,
I
half
think
the time we were calling him Baby Yoda in this review.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that qualifies as a fourth wall break, not 3.5. But no, that's why I was laughing, because I was like, I immediately caught that, and I was just like, I lost it. I was laughing.
Boom. Yeah. But
All
yeah,
right.
before we totally wrap, I'll just give you one thing about the cartoons, Danny.
Yeah.
Other than episodes that are definitively child aimed, Dave Filoni, once they realized the hit they had on their hands, took that show as far as you could without risking the TV 14 or the whatever it is, the TV everyone rating. But they took it right to the edge of as far as they could go, as far as allowing how dark the episodes could get.
You know what?
It's worth doing.
Die on that
So
show.
here, I know this
Oh,
sounds
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
this might sound kind of morbid, but I have 3 surgeries, like full-fledged, not these little band-aids I've been doing, these neck procedures. Like I have to get I have a torn rotator cuff that's got to get, I don't know if they replace it or repair it, but my right hip, I'm getting a total right hip replacement. And eventually I have to have neck surgery with Dr. Duke. So my plan was, because I'm going to be on the shelf for a pretty significant amount of time, at least because I've been through the hip before.
You gonna move your computer into the bedroom?
Well, I mean, I have a MacBook Pro right here. They're not a MacBook. What is this called? A Surface.
You can always like put your bed right in there.
You got a Surface Pro that's got a camera I can take in there. But
or
anyway,
what I did, put a recliner right there.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't have a recliner, but no. Anyway, my idea was,
hey,
like,
Bird, you're there. You get him
I'll
to
watch,
load your machine,
because there's like 3 of them, right? There's Clone Wars, Rebels, and now Bad Batch, right? And they're all connected.
Yes,
yeah.
correct.
So
Yeah.
I figure, like, between those 3, like let's just say the longest recovery is going to be the hip. And I'll start Clone Wars with the hip, and then the second longest one will be Rebels. Well, I'll do the shoulder and watch Rebels, and then the shortest one, because it just came out recently, Bad Batch. I'll do the neck with that. And the reason is because the neck might even be longer, but there's a it's not very high, but it's honest to say there's a much higher percentage of me not waking up from that surgery than the other 2. And I feel like I could go without seeing Bad Batch, but if not, and I make it, I can watch Bad Batch, and then I can find something else while I finish my recovery for the neck. So that's kind of my plan. That's so. Did you fall asleep, Michael? Did you give us your final thoughts and your score?
I gave it.
Okay, so then,
I gave my score. As far as final thoughts, I thought it was kind of like with Picard. I thought it was good enough. I thought that it was beautiful to look at, but as far as the story, I think that it was, it felt a little rushed, like they were trying to get from place to place a little too fast.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's the problem with this.
Like
a
maybe
30-minute
one planet
30-minute
less
episode
would have been good.
Why don't they just? I would have rather they did 4 hour-long episodes instead of 8 30-minute episodes, you know, but whatever.
I would prefer 22 hour.
I mean, well, that too. I'm beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks for having me on. This is a new,
for a living again.
So I feel like we're going to keep doing this. So I was thinking branding's a nice thing. So since we're reviewing Mandalorian on Wednesdays, we could call this Star Wars Wednesdays with the Salty Nerd, the Dork Knight, and Mordak. Just planting the seed.
The executioner.
So I'm gonna do the thing the host should do. So Jason, tell everybody where they can find you on the socials and what you got coming up until we see you next week or tomorrow. Tomorrow.
I've got coming up tomorrow some Picard, and as far as socials go, I don't actively use my YouTube, but I do have some random content out there, and of course my Twitter is around someplace.
I mean, I know who you are.
So a bunch of you guys have me on Twitter. Yeah. I know that. So
yeah. So all right, you can find me at Dork Knight LV. I just signed up for Rumble because YouTube's starting to piss me off. So same username on everything, like literally everything. I've locked it up whether I use it or not. That's my and I don't use a lot.
Thank you for saying that. I've got to get a hold of somebody. I've got a domain name someone wants back.
Hey man, you know I do that stuff for a living. So if you need help, I can help you.
Revenue possibility, no.
Or that. Yeah. So just like Jason, the next thing I have coming up is tomorrow night with Mr. Michael Crawford. We're gonna do it again at 3:00, right? Tomorrow?
No, we're gonna do it 5:00.
I thought we were doing it at 3. I said I needed to start earlier. I wasn't.
Yeah, that is earlier, but it's 5:00.
Central
Standard Time.
Oh, okay.
5 Central.
So 3:00 my time. Good. So 3:00 Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. The three of us will be talking about season 3, episode 3 of Star Trek Picard. And then,
which actually times it out so that Mandalorian and Picard will end at the same time.
Yeah.
It does.
It's weird. I wonder if they did that on purpose.
I wonder. Maybe we should just do since Mandalorian's so short, we could do we'll talk about it backstage. I don't need to bore everybody, but come up with some kind of goofy name for reviewing Star Trek and Star Wars. And then like maybe we have a competition to find out which one we review first, even though the Star Wars episode came out first, but play up that Star Trek versus Star Wars rivalry. I'm doing exactly what I said I was going to do backstage now. Anyway. Oh, and my.
No good, I can't maneuver. Stay on target. We're too close. Stay on target.
Oh, yeah. What? I have a new. Never mind. We'll save it for the back.
Right, so anyway,
I've got an idea for that clip now, and Danny, you will like the idea.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, Michael, it's your turn as the host. You close us out. Tell everybody where they
remember,
can find
you are the salt of the earth. I am the salty trekker, and Danny will never stay on target.